Okay, so today, especially in the modern era, we see a lot of people online living lives that we wish we were living. This can put an immense level of stress and pressure on us as young people to try and live up to those kinds of lifestyles. If you feel anything like I did, you see these people online, they're telling you to do this and that, you try it for a little bit and then you quit because you're not seeing the results that they have. It's completely normal. The truth is, any big successes you see online are either fake or they are real, and they were built with tiny little small steps to get there. I have constantly tried different things to try and become successful. I've seen different things online, from like drop shipping to starting automated YouTube channels, blah blah blah, all this. But listen, hear me out right now. It doesn't matter what you do. If you don't commit to it fully and devote all your time to becoming better at it, you're never going to get to success. The reason for this is because we try things out, and when we don't have Rolexes on our wrists in like 3 months and we're riding jet skis through the waters of Dubai, we think that this thing that we're trying isn't working. So bang, we get rid of it, we ditch it, we move on to the next thing. But listen, the truth is any skill takes a minimum of 10,000 hours to master. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're selling online, you're selling in person, you're making content, you're trading stocks. It really doesn't matter. Anything takes 10,000 hours minimum to master. I remember sitting in my room one night and thinking about the fact that I had this mindset that I needed to do more for 3 years, but yet I was in the same exact spot. And I really thought about it. The reason that I wasn't making any progress is because after like a month of doing something new, I would just get rid of it, scrap it, and try something else. I had never actually committed myself fully 100% to anything. So I asked myself what the magic formula was to becoming successful, and I realized that the reason I had never seen any results is because of my lack of consistency. This is when I started networking with professionals, people that were way above me. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just a young kid. I still am a young kid, but I had no experience in the business world, and I just started networking with people. And I learned that all these things you're seeing online are products of a journey that person took, and they worked in silence. All the lifestyles and the lavishes that they're posting online were all things that they had to build up over a ton of time, a big time period. And all the work that went into it, nobody saw. It was behind the curtains. But the things that they're living now are because of the work that they put in, the quiet work. And this is building a false sense of get rich quick in a lot of young people like ours minds. And this is why we can't stick to anything, because if we don't see results within the first 2 minutes, we automatically think that it's not going to work. So we start scrapping ideas. Let me tell you something. I think the one thing that you can't fake is fitness. So the first thing I did was I started going on jogs. I started lifting weights. I started trying martial arts. I don't think you can lie to yourself about fitness. Fitness is something that does not come overnight. You have to work at it. You have to constantly show up even when you don't feel like it. And if you don't, you won't see results. It's as simple as that. You can't fake it. So I think that getting in shape is literally the best way to start building the traits and the characteristics of someone who has success. Learning how to start small and put in tiny little actions each day that compound is way more powerful than just sending it all on one thing for a week and then quitting. Consistency beats intensity every single time, and that will always be the law of the world no matter what you see online. When I came to the realization that the alignment that I was going was more important than the speed, because life is a marathon, it's not a sprint, that is when I truly thought that I could make something of myself. I no longer held myself to the standard that I'm seeing online. I just started making small shifts in my life. What are things that I can do? Because not everyone comes from the same situation. Some people are born with money. Some people are born broke. But the one thing that all successful people share is that hunger, that drive, that discipline to become better. And I think it's absolutely important that you start building these traits and building skills that are going to help progress these characteristics within you, because that's when you're going to start to see success. It doesn't matter what you do. If you make $1 million overnight, but you're not the kind of person that can keep $1 million, you're going to lose $1 million and you're not going to know how to make it back. You need to become the person that's capable of that success on a consistent basis. Honestly, if I were you, I would sit down in a quiet space where you can focus. Sit with your thoughts. And this is scary for a lot of people, because a lot of people drown their lives with noise. They try and fill their heads with all this shit so that they don't have to face the fact that they're not happy or satisfactory with their lives. Sit down with your thoughts, write out the things that you want to achieve, write out the things you're doing now, find the void in between those, and find little things that if you start doing now, they will become a stepping stool, small little steps towards the bigger things that you want to achieve. There's levels to this. You need to start with the fundamentals, then you start with intermediaries, and then you start moving on to bigger things. But it's not one to one. It's not a linear journey. It's an absolute J curve. So you need to start with the fundamentals. Small things like journaling to yourself, sitting in silence and facing your thoughts, fitness. And honestly, the best thing you could start doing is creating. Start filming yourself. Get off the social media, stop scrolling, and start posting. You might fear that people are going to judge you, but at the end of the day, people respect people who show up every single day. People respect consistency. People respect people who are able to stand out from the crowd and speak their mind. It's a sign of you being all in on your mission and being strong on your word, and nobody's going to disrespect that. And if they do, it's not even worth your time. Start creating. As soon as I started posting, I felt some level of accountability. You can't just post for a week about how you're going to do all these things and then not come through on it. I use my audience as kind of like an accountability partner. So to summarize, I think the important thing here is that you stop imagining the end goal. The end goal is very important, but it doesn't matter if you don't start with small steps. You need to look at the end goal, reverse engineer what you need to do to get there, and then start doing those things consistently. Now, when I tell you it's not going to be easy, it's going to be very difficult, and there's going to be a lot of days when you don't want to do it. Those are the days you need to show up, because those are the days you become the mentally toughest. That's a subject for another time, but start with a journal today. Sit down, write out 3 things that you could do that are going to progress your life in an upward trajectory. 365 times 0.001 is some crazy number, but I know it's better than 0. So start looking at your time as a currency, something that has value, because once you start to utilize your time and manage it, it's going to become your best friend rather than something that you're just wasting or is just running out. Because remember, when you're living like this, time isn't running out, you're just getting started. So let's go.